who apparently can't even pick up a phone to say he has a schedule conflict and won't be able to make it. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
That would bother me.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and it is the live Sunday edition of the show. As always, you're invited to join us here, where you may take control of the airwaves by dialing in our toll-free number at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, has the Me Too movement ruined at-work dating? Richie's got the story. By the way, it's Ian here.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
And but to start, a related story, Mark, that you brought in, but you're going blind, sadly, so I'll take care of reading
it's not
this.
untrue.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
It's just reality. We're all getting not getting any younger, that's for sure. Billy Graham rule. This,
there are those that aren't getting any younger, but they're dead. So it beats the alternative, right?
That's true. Billy Graham rule. What is this? Well, apparently we talked about this previously when the news came out that Mike Pence, who is the vice president in the United States, that apparently he follows this rule when it comes to like being in a place alone with another woman that's not his wife.
Right.
So getting into an elevator or going into...
Or in his family or something like that. I'm sure it's okay with his mother.
His grandmother's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So anybody who you don't intimately trust who's a woman,
right?
The idea is don't be alone with them because they might say something that's not true.
A whole variety of reasons, I suspect, but mostly that's not shared. It's to, for instance, there's no one's going to make an accusation about a meeting that didn't occur. There's much less likely to make an accusation about a meeting that didn't occur, right?
Sure.
Okay, so one way or the other, he hit on me. He, whatever. Oh, I heard those two were in the elevator together.
Brushed my shoulder.
You know what happens in the elevator? It could be a third party talking about it. It's just a variety of reasons why somebody might choose to abide by this rule.
Did you see those two walk off together?
I abide by this rule. It's just that no woman wants to be alone with me.
Even your wife?
She's kind of has to live with it.
So here's what's happening according to news.yahoo.com and their 360 News editor Mike Bebernus. He says earlier this month, a Republican candidate for Mississippi governor made national headlines for refusing to allow a female reporter to travel with him unless a male colleague accompanied them. The candidate, State Representative Robert Foster, later said he avoids being alone with another woman, quote, out of respect, unquote, for his wife. Well, that's a nice way to put it.
Sure.
That's a little nicer than saying I'm deathly afraid of being accused of something that I didn't actually do. The reporter, who's works for Mississippi Today, Larison Campbell is her name, said the campaign wanted to avoid any situation that could, quote, insinuate an extramarital affair. A few days later, one of Foster's opponents in the Republican primary, Bill Waller Jr., also said he follows what's known as the Billy Graham rule. Graham was one of the most prominent Christian evangelists in the country until his death last year. He established a set of rules for his ministry in 1948, and one of them is that a man should never be alone with a woman who is not his wife. So this was long before any kind of, Me Too movement or, large popular accusations of things that may or may not have occurred.
Very forward thinking on his part.
And it could just simply have been a kind of a traditional marriage kind of institutional thing with his church, right?
It's sexist against men, suggesting that they don't have the ability to
withhold,
to calm themselves down. They're just, it's just a few constraints of society that's holding me back from being rapey McRape man, right? And that. Well,
for a politician, I don't even know if it's a restraint. It's the accusations or the false accusations.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's the thing is that I don't want to presume what this rule says because it's once you go with the opponent's narrative, then you've already lost. And it's at this point, it's the feminists that are saying, "Oh my God, this is so sexist. I should be able to be alone with a man, and he should be able to be fine with it. I should be able to be naked and gyrating in front of him, and if he touches me without my permission, it's rape or whatever. Like this is just, it just keeps going. The narrative just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and that's all fine. Whatever. You want to call somebody a rapist, to just feel free, because it's the only thing that's going to make you happy. However, I think a guy has or a person, mind you, because what if Ruth Bader Ginsburg had the similar rule? I will not be in the same room alone with a man that is not in my immediate family. I don't suspect anybody would spend any time at all lambasting her for her choices.
They would probably consider that the safe side.
But I've got to hear story after story about how women are mistreated in society, but let's not forget that men are considered, the idea of letting a 15-year-old young man babysit your kids wasn't that difficult of a notion to understand 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But now, no way.
So young males aren't allowed to babysit anymore, is what
I
you're
think
saying?
that basically that opportunity is gone.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever remember having a male babysitter when I was a kid. They were always female, the ones that I'd had,
Yeah.
and that was in the 80s or whatever.
My general feeling is along with Mark. Like it would looked at as being odd and possibly frowned upon, unless it was like.
What if he was gay?
That would
That
probably
change it?
be worse. Yeah.
Really? It would be worse. Huh.
I mean, that's the whole the whole Boy Scout thing, right? Like Boy Scout troop leaders aren't allowed to be gay because gay male.
What if you've got a daughter? Can you have a gay male babysit the daughter?
That might be acceptable.
Because,
don't know.
generally they're considered non-threatening, right? Like, that's purportedly why women are okay with hanging out with gay guys, because they're not,
they're
going to
not
try
gonna
to pick
rape
them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that many cases people consider gay guys to be more likely to participate in underage sex than straight guys.
But
I don't
not
get
with
that.
women or females or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Vice President Mike Pence drew attention in 2017 when it was reported that he never eats a meal with a woman who is not his wife.
Yep. And they went after him. Look, I don't like Mike Pence, but this is the last problem I have with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really see what the problem is here. I mean, it seems like a prudent thing to do.
Sure, I'll give you the problem. So, for instance, in the case of the, for all of them, if a female reporter wishes to chat with Mike Pence at lunch, well, no, that can't be. That's not acceptable. She has to bring an escort or something like that. Now, the reporting agency has to send in 2 reporters. Why would you do that? You just send in one.
The guy.
Well,
Right.
it doesn't even have to be a guy. The idea that you're not going to rape 2 women at once, right? So, at the very least,
But they could corroborate a story.
they could.
could.
Now we're on the, now we're getting really, really paranoid. So, but whatever. This isn't the reason necessarily that I think it's always that people choose to do this. So, if you're gonna, you might as well just send one. If you're one male, if you're gonna send two other reporters. So this is the idea is that this makes it harder for women reporters to do their job, and I think that there is an argument for that. However, I have never heard anyone report on or mention a woman who has a similar rule. I used Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but Hillary Clinton or Elizabeth Warren, these 2 women could be just as easily used. Why am I not hearing this story? Are women half of the planet holding similar DNA as the rest of us? Are they so perfect that they don't need this rule and it's only men who need this rule? That sounds like sexism against men. If they do have this rule, why is it not getting reported on? That sounds like sexism against men. And if they have this rule, it sounds perfectly fine to me.
Well,
Maybe
now,
go ahead. I was going to say maybe the rule is prohibitively difficult for females simply because it's in the case of the news outlet, they probably have an abundance of male reporters.
I asked my wife when was the last time she thought she was in a room with a man, and she said, dentist, doctor, and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
Sure.
I have been in the room with a female doctor in my underpants before, and by myself. So I guess from a professional standpoint, I'm not that worried about it.
I mean, are we looking for people who are offended by these rules to call in? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
Or offended that the people are offended by the rules, I suppose.
Or adherence to the rule.
855-450-3733. And do you follow this rule? And does it make your life more difficult? You want to comment? You're welcome to join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
I just heard the best sales pitch I've heard in a long time on an airplane. The flight attendant announced, "If you paid more than $75 for your round-trip ticket, you overpaid." This is brilliant because everybody on the flight paid more, and I was struck by how all the road warriors stopped typing and reading and working and looked up. The announcement invited us to apply for the airline's credit card. And the sign-up bonus? Enough frequent flyer miles for a free round trip. Talk about turning lemons into lemonade. With some banks offering free credit cards, $75 is an outrage for an annual fee, but a bargain for airline tickets. For more tips on communicating more effectively, hit survivalspeech.com, where you can see how I got the CEO of another major airline to shower me with freebies. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here, live Sunday edition. We're talking about the rule that apparently was created by Billy Graham, or at least popularized by him, that basically says, don't be alone with a woman that's not your wife, essentially. Presumably that this only applies to men who are married, or...
Yeah, I think that So I would suspect if Billy Graham came up with it, it has to do to some extent with adultery, right? So because I have a wife, it would be considered probably more risque and inappropriate for me to be alone with, woman X than it would be for you who is single.
Right. Now, the Vice President Mike Pence got attention for this in 2017 when it was reported he never eats a meal with a woman who's not his wife. Now, that's not the same as being alone. That's just more of like, I don't want to be photographed alone with another woman because some people might think that I'm cheating on my wife.
It would be misconstrued as a date.
Right. I mean, that's like the worst that could happen out of being seen with a woman in a public place. It's not like there's some sort of alleged molestation going to happen, if you're sitting down at a nice restaurant with somebody. But we can continue the discussion. If you want to jump in, you're welcome to join us here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom, and we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and you agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, then I'd like to invite you to check out liberty.menu. It is an excellent listing service. It's got a map. It's got pinpoints on the map for liberty-friendly businesses and also digital content creators and events. So if you care about freedom and you want other people that care about freedom to know that you exist with whatever business that you do, you can put it on liberty.menu and maybe you'll get some extra business out of it. It can't hurt unless, of course, you think it's a bad idea to let people know that you care about freedom, in which case you don't want to go there. But if you aren't afraid, if you do want to get some extra business maybe from liberty-friendly folks, then get over to liberty.menu. It's free to list yourself there, and you can do more than one listing. So if you got more than one iron in the fire, you got more than one business or hobby or whatever you want people to know about, just put it over at liberty.menu. As we go to your calls and thoughts, we can talk more about Billy Graham's rule and how it's applied. In moments, you're welcome to comment. Let's go to Dave in Colorado. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, it's the Dave in Colorado, who is normally known as the Dave in New Hampshire.
Well, hello, Dave Ridley. Go ahead.
And I wanted to try and put a U.S. Senate race in context as it relates to the Free State Project.
Okay, the Free State
U.S. Senate race in context with the Free State Project. All right.
The Free State Project being a migratory movement for libertarians to come to New Hampshire.
So there's this guy named Bill O'Brien, who used to be the Speaker of the House in New Hampshire. He's a Republican, and he is running for U.S. Senate now against the Democrat. And he has actually a relatively long and detailed history with Free Staters, although he's not one of them and not always sympathetic. But the first thing that is kind of interesting is that he was the lawyer for one of your co-hosts, Sam Dodson, for a while.
Yeah, that's right. That was a long time ago. That's probably about a decade ago.
I got the impression Sam was not very pleased with his with the service he got.
No, I don't
mainly
think he
just
was.
Because I guess he didn't win his case.
That's how people feel.
Yep.
Best lawyer ever if you win.
Right. You've paid an attorney thousands of dollars. It really sucks if they don't win.
But Bill definitely showed up, when there would be a hearing or something like that, and he made a good case for Sam, and on camera at least. I didn't hear everything he said in court, but he's one of those people who he's a politician who always stops and answers my questions when I ambush interview him.
Okay.
And he also, I guess, when he was Speaker of the House, they managed to cut spending by 11% over about a 2-year period in New Hampshire. That would have been around 2011.
That's true.
So so this is not a minor candidate, but he's not considered likely to win. It's more there's an expectation that the incumbent Democrat will hold it. And there's also this sense, that oftentimes when politicians, they seem to be okay when they're at the state level, and then the feds get a hold of them and they just turn into Darth Vader. And
yeah.
I'm not saying this will not happen with Bill O'Brien. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I guess the last thing that's interesting is that I guess New Hampshire there is a case where New Hampshire at least has sort of gotten out of this mold, and they had when John Sununu was senator, he actually was rated by the Republican Liberty Caucus as the most libertarian senator in the U.S. Senate around the 2006 era.
So is this just a call to action to get behind this guy?
Nope. No, I don't know. I think he's interesting to follow and watch. There's hope for this guy. there wasn't hope for someone like Kelly Ayotte, who was just a bureaucrat, coming from the Attorney General's office, and there was nothing to be gained from her winning the election.
I don't really think there's much to be gained at the federal level anyway. I mean, even if you could put an actual libertarian into one of those seats, it's just one of 100 votes or whatever, or one of 500 and however many there are, 435
representatives.
So. I think Rand Paul has proven to be pretty helpful in that position for the most part.
Well, the government hasn't gotten any smaller.
Well, he's got some filibuster success though. That's
sure.
Commendable. I guess,
he's not known for being a principled libertarian like his father was.
He doesn't even claim to be. He's never claimed to be. That's another weird thing.
One thing, okay, so if you look at his votes, he's pretty darn libertarian. If you look at what he says, he's trying to fit in with the conservative guys. Hey, I'm here. I'm a conservative.
I did hear that Trump appointed him as an envoy to Iran to try to make peace, so I thought that was a good piece of news. We didn't actually cover that, but it was in my show prep, and I thought it'd be really interesting.
Well, there's this thing, I think I call it the Pinochet phenomenon. There was this guy under the Pinochet regime. I should probably name it after the guy. But there was this guy in charge of some sort of social services, in this fascist government in Chile in the 80s. And he was able to, despite the totalitarian, or at least the authoritarianism he was living under, he was able to make huge changes in Chile economically that he didn't do it all single-handedly. But the reason Chile came out of the 80s and 90s in such good shape was partly because this guy working within the Pinochet system, doing what he could get away with, right?
Yeah.
And this is, Rand Paul is the same sort of phenomenon. There's a limit to what he can do, but he seems to be doing a lot of that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not saying that somebody in that position can't have, to some extent shake the rattle the cage or whatever, but it's not going to result in anything.
That might be about it.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be worth doing.
Okay. I mean, hey, I'm not going to run for that office, but if somebody else wants to, I wouldn't tell them not to. It just seems that it's more effective to focus on New Hampshire, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I would agree with Ian on this point, is that if we have a good candidate, why not get him back in New Hampshire to do something good, and then take the crappy politicians and send them to Washington, D.C., where they belong?
I mean, if I were to talk to Bill O'Brien, that's probably what I'd urge him to do, but I guess it's too late.
Yeah, he's probably not going to listen to us anymore.
Dave, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Well, obviously he's seeking power, and that is right on its own a bad sign.
Typical politician.
And I think Dave is right that as soon as somebody who seems okay on the state level gets a hold of more power, it's probably they're going to just swirl down the drain towards being more corrupt and more awful. As we've seen, even the power has the tendency to corrupt even the libertarians who get elected. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved LicoChops with Omega-6, Omega-3, Vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com. You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live.
I'm sure I can speak for many of thousands. I don't fear illegals. I don't want them here and their filth that they bring with and the disease that they bring with.
All the people who work in the stores and the markets and the restaurants are overwhelmingly Hispanic, and they seem very clean and be doing a fine job here, and I've never heard anything about problems with disease.
For you to defend the illegal immigrants, and I'm not sure, as I said earlier, which host at what time is very condescending defending.
Madam, I will defend anybody that is peaceful and looking for a better life for themselves. We already pointed out.
I don't defend them. I wish that people like you.
You say that Mexicans are filthy, and you call me condescending, lady? You say they're disease-ridden and filthy, and I'm condescending?
And they are. And
You're outrageous. Get out of here. Thank you for the call.
She's had all her rope. She's hung herself.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
You can join us online over at freetalklive.com and enjoy the features there. We do have downloadable archives that go way back, all the way back to 2006. And actually beyond if you want to grab the torrents, over at freetalklive.com.
My Magic Mud. It is a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut husks and bentonite clay. Might sound strange, but take a look at the ingredients on your toothpaste and you might change your mind. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and it certainly does. If you use it as recommended, that's 4 days, once a day for 4 days, and then once every 4 to 7 days after that. Your teeth will be as white as they're supposed to be. The sort of natural white that you're looking for. It removes stains, and it does it fantastically. I love it for that. But even more importantly to me is it gets my teeth even cleaner. Oral health's important. The stuff you can feel on your teeth right now when you run your tongue across it, those things don't smell good either.
Yeah.
People don't want to kiss somebody whose breath doesn't smell that good. And, well, My Magic Mud is going to help solve that. Most major health food stores have it. Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, Amazon. You can get this stuff just about anywhere if you take a look. It's great. It's been out for, I don't think, a full decade, but maybe close to it. MyMagicMud.com. If you go there, you can use coupon code FTL20 and get 20% off. Get it at the lowest rate. You can be guaranteed they're selling it at the lowest rate or trying to. MyMagicMud.com, coupon code FTL for 20% off, and it'll last you like 6 months. MyMagicMud.com, coupon code FTL20.
Got it. And I use it. I've got their toothpaste upstairs right now.
Yep, I've got to get some more of that. I left it in a hotel in Las Vegas.
I like the cinnamon flavor, but then again, I haven't tried any of the others yet. So
the cinnamon?
I got peppermint.
What about the clove?
I thought it was cinnamon clove or something like that. There's a
There
cinnamon.
might be some cinnamon in the clove.
I think we all have different ones because
Yeah,
I remember
we
having
do.
this conversation before. Like you got the clove, I got the peppermint, he's got the cinnamon.
I did pass out the rest of them.
Okay.
I gave my wife a peppermint, and I might have given you a spearmint or something like that. I don't even know.
One of our chatters in the chat room says we should send Dave Ridley on a rescue mission to find Sarah in New Mexico. One of our callers who was an everyday caller until we went to Fork Fest and the Porcupine Freedom
And then
Festival.
she didn't hear you on the radio and couldn't call in.
Well, no, she was never listening on the radio. Almost
Okay.
never. She did find us on the radio in Albuquerque eventually, but when she was a caller regularly, she wasn't necessarily actually listening to the
Maybe
show.
she's wrapped up in the Area 51 invasion.
Good point. That I'm seeing that in a lot of places. A lot of people are talking about this Area 51 thing. In fact, Mark, you're even considering going down there on a trip. I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
I'm putting together plans to do it.
So you're planning it now. You're not just considering doing it. You're actually like looking into buying tickets and that kind of thing.
I might drive.
Really?
To participate or more as a reporter?
I am going to interview people.
Okay.
Because
That
I
makes
think that
sense.
there's probably some
characters for
very
sure.
interesting folks.
Yeah, there's probably some
that are
real
gonna show up.
crackpots.
Oh yeah,
it should be fun. Now, are you taking Jack down there with you? Going to make it a little
I can't make
father-son?
Jack interested in it. I just don't understand
What's
why.
wrong? I thought he liked space.
He does. He doesn't
don't like aliens?
He
An
doesn't like.
11-year-old boy is not into aliens.
I don't get it.
Wait, seriously? He's not into aliens, and he's
Is
into
he into
space.
aliens? I don't know whether he's into. He doesn't. No, I don't know. He's just not doesn't want to go.
Never watched any like UFO videos
He
with
said,
him.
"Good luck with the machine gun nests," is what he said.
That's probably smart. That might be
Yeah.
like the most realistic outcome of that whole thing.
Yeah.
If you're there interviewing people and
I'm
someone
not
starts to
running
storm
out
it.
there.
I understand that, but I don't think the machine gun nest is going to be too discriminatory on who they're firing at if you're nearby.
Well, I try not to be too close, but yeah, I got you.
Well, I guess that's happening in September, so as we get closer, you'll know more about whatever plans, and I don't know, maybe there'll be a listener party down there that you can.
That'd be awesome.
You can go to, in the desert or wherever, because there's not a whole lot near Area 51, right?
That's the point.
Yeah. We'll be lucky if there's even a cell phone signal for you to call in, and if they start firing on you, to let us
They'll
know.
probably shut them down.
That's a good point. All right, so we're talking about this Billy Graham rule that, Mark, you brought in the story from Yahoo.com, and just kind of going through some examples of people who follow this thing, including Mike Pence, the vice president, who will not even go so far as to eat a meal with a woman that's not his wife, let alone be alone with a woman that's not his wife. They say here that a recent study of male managers, 60% of them are, quote, uncomfortable mentoring, socializing with, or even working alone with women in the workplace.
Yeah, in modern times, I can totally understand that.
And you've got a story that gets, I think, a little deeper into to that aspect of this. According to the story here at Yahoo, proponents of the rule argue it prevents impropriety and shields men from false claims or insinuations of misconduct. Foster reportedly said he was concerned about trackers working for his opponents planting stories of impropriety for political reasons. The rule is even more necessary, some argue, because of the Me Too movement, with a single accusation cratering a man's career. Campbell calls the rule sexist. Many echo.
Let's not
her
forget
criticism.
that we've just gotten stories, information that Al Franken, the woman who made the accusations against him, might have been exaggerating or might have just been BSing. That this guy gave up his Senate career at the beginning of the Me Too movement in order to give Democrats more viability amongst women. When
so he accepted something
this
that
lady is now it's been described by the New York Times as a conservative talk show host with a struggling career. I wonder
Really?
how you could, as a female conservative talk show host, make your career a little more obvious.
take down a politician.
An important one.
Yeah.
An important and influential liberal politician taken down, well, wham, by some lady
With a false
who wanted,
accusation is what you're saying.
I don't know whether it was a false accusation or not. I'd be curious in listening to what Al Franken had to say about it. However, we couldn't do that because too many people were like, women, right? Like, women don't lie. They never lie about this. Ridiculous.
That was part of the Me Too thing, was believe all victims.
Believe women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtag believe all victims.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, so it was believe all victims, not believe women?
Believe women, something like that. It was one of those.
To that effect.
Yeah.
basically
I don't
whatever accusation came forward, you take them at their word.
It's ridiculous. You got to have evidence.
Right, and
a lot of times they didn't.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't necessarily. I believe that some women have stories where their accusations are true and correct, and they can't prove it, and I consider that to be unfortunate. But what do you do about it? Like, do we throw away 1,000 years of jurisprudence because some women have been raped or bothered or whatever the situation is, and they can't prove it? I don't know. I mean, the answer for me is no. We don't.
No, you don't. Look, if you're that worried about it, just don't go out on dates anymore.
Well, that'd be considered sexist. You're telling a woman she shouldn't drink. Why are you blaming the victim?
Don't wear that short dress.
Right, that's what it all comes down to. You can't tell them to do that. And remember,
I'm not saying just women. Again, remember, guys are saying they're being falsely accused.
Yep.
So you've got, women who are saying they're being raped, guys saying they're being falsely accused. Who's telling the truth? I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the guys are the ones who are participating in the MGTOW movement as well.
That's men going their own way.
Which is basically avoiding women, to avoid these types of situations.
Which is different from the incels, right? The MGTOW?
Yeah.
Well,
the MGTOW is voluntary.
Yeah. Incel means involuntarily celibate.
Right.
So
they would like to, they just can't.
They both seem jaded, though, towards the opposite sex.
There's a lot of jaded stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I will admit to being somewhat jaded, but then again, I don't have to play this game.
I'm
married.
Campbell calls the rule sexist. Many echo her criticism, saying men who follow the rule see women only as sexual objects with no other value. Others say the rule perpetuates the idea that women are in some way responsible for men's behavior. The Billy Graham rule, they say, holds women back professionally, arguing that by denying them the chance to work alongside men in positions of power who could help promote their careers. Well, wait a minute. Are you saying you need men, powerful men, to be successful?
Well, if you're a reporter, you need powerful somebody to report on.
Mentors are important, but we're seeing information here that bosses don't want to mentor across sexual lines.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want. You're welcome to comment on the Billy Graham rule or take control of the airwaves here on the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions,
The best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Live Sunday edition of the show. As always, you're invited here. If you want to join us, you can. We're talking about the Billy Graham rule, which is the idea that you shouldn't be spending any time with other women that aren't your wife. Now, how this applies to single men, well, that's not really clear. Maybe don't go on dates completely alone or something like that, because people seem to be really worried about this Me Too thing. I mean, maybe it's just because I don't go out on dates very often. It doesn't really seem to concern me. Feels like it's still worth getting to know somebody and, taking whatever minor risk there might be that they might be a psychopath looking to cook up a plot to have you arrested.
Start with a group date and then branch off.
There you go. Yeah. That's a good idea. Of course, the standard dating rule should always apply. Of you want to meet somebody in person, especially if it's like one of those online dating things. You want to meet that person in person in a public place, so
absolutely
you or they don't get abducted or whatever. But we've got a little bit more here, Mark, from the story you brought in from Yahoo.com about this. If you want to weigh in, you can. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Has the Me Too movement, if there is such a thing, it's a tag, it's a hashtag. Is everything that's a hashtag a movement now?
No.
Has the Me Too movement changed how
hashtag taxation is theft?
Yeah, well, that's actually kind of become real, Mark, in that here in New Hampshire, we actually have state reps who will say taxation is theft publicly in front of the entire state house. And that's actually made headlines as a result of them doing that. So it's kind of actually become a real life, meme or whatever you want to call it. So it's a little bigger than just a hashtag, I think.
Here at least.
Yeah, here in New Hampshire. Of course, in other places, people have made T-shirts out of it. There's bumper stickers and things like that. So it's gone off the internet. In fact, arguably, it started off the internet and then became a hashtag. But anyway, has the Me Too movement changed how you approach your professional life when it comes to the women that you work with? Or is this stuff just being over-reported? Is this being blown out of proportion?
Is it women reporters complaining that on not getting stories that they think they should have gotten? Because this sort of stuff happens in journalism.
In this case, this is a male reporter.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that journalism is like any other career. And they focus on the things they focus on, the things that are important to them. And I think that Twitter is disproportionately important in the world because journalists report on what is going on Twitter.
They do, a lot.
They don't spend any time talking about, well, there's a Facebook meme on this issue. They don't do that.
Trump tweeted again. Here's a headline.
But they talk about Twitter all the time.
Twitter used to be a good place to get late-breaking news locally.
But not anymore?
The right people. I don't think so anymore because of stuff like this. I mean, that's just my personal feeling. But with was it the Egypt situation? All the news that was coming out of there was coming out on Twitter. So if you were trying to follow, like, on the ground activists and what they were doing,
the Arab Spring.
Yeah, that was probably what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, but reporting on Twitter is the opposite of what Twitter used to be, right? You used to go to Twitter for the reports, not to get the reports on what's happening on Twitter.
They say here that the Billy Graham rule, again, according to critics, holds women back professionally by denying them the chance to work alongside men in positions of power who could help promote their careers. The rule may even, quote, violate several different laws when practiced by public officials, said one legal analyst. Well, that's true. Nobody's been brought up on charges just yet.
And again, one more time, I haven't seen the first report on a woman who chooses not to give interview. Like, for instance, no reporters like, the men in their jobs about the actress, I can't remember her name, from Captain Marvel, who...
Brie Larson.
Yes. Brie Larson, who refused to do interviews with male reporters. All right? Refused. Now, there are probably more...
Is that because she wanted to help the careers of female reporters?
That was the impression I got. Also, let's not forget that Captain Marvel has long been a feminist character.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with a young lady who is feminist. Maybe she's feminist. I don't even know. Maybe she's just
She's
acting.
in Hollywood. There's a good chance.
She's an actress. Maybe she's just acting like she's feminist. I don't know. But
she got really into her part.
The part is feminist, so I don't have a problem with Brie Larson choosing to only give interviews to female reporters.
I don't have a problem with anybody having a preference. I mean, what we're talking about here is the ability to discriminate. That's what we're talking about.
Sure.
If that's all you want to do is talk, if you're a woman and you only want to talk to other women because that makes you feel safe, then go for it. If you are a woman, you only want to talk to other women because you think that's going to help your fellow women, then cool. If you're a man and you're deathly afraid of women cooking up stories about you, then don't go out with them. I mean, I just don't see what the controversy is here.
Well, I don't want to speak to the controversy.
I wouldn't do it myself. I think people should be judged individually, not based on what they've got between their legs or not.
Well, progressivism has changed from equality and equal opportunity to making people do things.
Sure.
And it's just going to keep doing that as long as we keep saying, oh, well, I guess I got to do this because that's what we got to do now.
I will say this issue is going to be one of those things that seems blown out of proportion until it happens to you, right? And until you put yourself in a dangerous situation by being alone with a female when you ought not to be, and someone sees you and the accusations fly and no one believes you because you're the white male or the male or whatever in this situation, and they go, wow, if only I had followed the Billy Graham rule and not put myself in that situation, this thing would not have happened.
But on the other hand, if you follow this rule, you may... Again, we're talking about not necessarily just men with wives, but just generally, right? If you do follow this rule or you're extra cautious, you may end up missing out on a great relationship.
Possibly. Right? The internet darling, Keanu Reeves, right, has a bunch of photos of him
where he doesn't touch women,
where he doesn't touch anybody,
and they laud him for this,
right? Because he doesn't put himself in a situation where his hands on someone's hips or back can be
accuse him of something.
That is sad,
sure,
and weird. Okay,
right. But he is well protected against any Me Too accusation.
He's a single guy who...
Single?
Yeah.
As my understanding is. He's a single guy who's... I mean, these girls would probably beg him to put his hands on him. And, this is just sad that you can't... Now we can't take pictures while touching people.
No, you can. You totally can. Right? But just be aware that if you do, you are now in danger of having a false accusation.
Hashtag Me Too.
Hashtag Me Too thrown your way. You can totally do whatever you want, right? Like you could talk to whoever you want. You can hang out with everyone.
Maybe he's asexual or something like that. I don't know.
That's been floated out there.
Because I mean, how
he
is
likes
it
motorcycles?
How is it you can be Keanu Reeves and be this, international action superstar or whatever, and still be single at age 50, whatever he is?
I thought it was a family loss at some point. I thought I read somewhere that he lost his child and wife at some point.
So he had at one point.
I believe. Like, don't quote me on that because I don't know for certain. I'd love to be corrected because I didn't.
It sounds like a plot from one of his movies.
It could be, yeah. But that's what I said. That's what I've seen on the internet, basically, and just never moved on past that. So if I'm wrong,
why is
I apologize.
Keanu Reeves not married? I'll have to get into this.
The idea that a devoted, loving relationship, according to Yahoo, could be destabilized by the mere presence of a woman doing her job for 15 hours is at its core an irrational and ridiculous assertion, says the author. It would be laughable if it didn't materially... Oh, excuse me, this is a commentator from Yes Magazine. It would be laughable if it didn't materially degrade a woman's capacity to function professionally. Going on, it says here, these is a Washington Post quote, "These might be acceptable if dispiriting choices for a private citizen to make in his own life, but a governor making them has cascading effects for hundreds of thousands of people within his bureaucracy. The Graham-Pence rule prevents women from climbing to the top of their careers because the men who have the power to help them get there won't even let them in the room."
Well, ladies, these are the consequences of being a pain in the butt. Is that some point or another, if you hashtag all men are rapists, right? At some point, men are going to be like, hey, I don't want to be a rapist. I'm not going to hang out here where there's any problem doing that. Well, hashtag you're a rapist because you're not being rapisty enough or whatever. It just keeps piling up. I'm cannot
glad you said it.
Get, what's that?
I said, I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. Well, you can't win.
No,
it seems like they created the feminists, the females,
right?
Created it with the Me Too, with the with the false accusations, and now are complaining about the repercussions of those.
Right. There's a contradiction here, and that is that on one hand, a lot of these women are saying that they believe in equality and they want an equal chance or whatever, but now they're complaining because if they can't have a dinner with a politician, then they can't further their career because they need the men to give them.
The only solution is to go after the feminists and vilify them for a good decade, and then maybe things will swing back in the other direction.
All right, there's more on the way here. If you want to weigh in, I know you had a related piece. I don't know if we covered it, Richie, but we can get into that coming up here about the workplace, right, specifically.
Office romance.
And Me Too. This is Free Talk Live.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,418, silver at $16.38, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,142. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime personal pilots have been subpoenaed by federal prosecutors in Manhattan, according to the Wall Street Journal. The grand jury subpoenas were served earlier this month following Epstein's July 6 arrest in New Jersey on charges of sex trafficking minors. He has pleaded not guilty to the years-long scheme in which prosecutors allege the wealthy financier sexually abused dozens of young girls from 2002 to 2005. Some of whom recruited other victims. The Mind Unleashed reports it's unknown how many of Epstein's pilots were subpoenaed, or whether they're cooperating witnesses. According to court documents from prior cases, Epstein employed David Rogers, Larry Vasosky, Larry Morrison, and Bill Hammond as pilots and flight engineers. Rogers, Vasosky, and Morrison have previously testified in civil depositions. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In the latest move to undermine the separation of church and state in the United States, a new law in South Dakota is requiring all public schools in the state to prominently display the motto, "In God We Trust." The Mind Unleashed reports the new law, which decrees that schools must emblazon the message across 149 South Dakota school districts, was pushed by lawmakers who argue that the theological slogan is meant to inspire patriotism. Governor Kristi Noem signed off on the law in March. The law requires that the motto must be both legible and 12 by 12 inches in size. In a Thursday Twitter post, the governor said, quote, "We should never be afraid to proclaim that we are one nation under God," end quote. The new law has provoked controversy in many of the state's communities, with critics condemning the law as part of a stealth campaign aiming to infuse religious indoctrination into state legislation. In a bipartisan deal that one anti-war critic said demonstrates how thoroughly broken and captured Washington is by the Pentagon, 219 House Democrats and 65 Republicans on Thursday voted to approve a budget agreement that includes $1.48 trillion in military spending over the next 2 years. Just 16 Democrats, including Representatives Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley, voted against the 2-year, $2.7 trillion budget agreement. Largely due to expressed concerns about the deficit, 132 Republicans also voted no. The final vote was 284 to 149. The House passage of the budget deal, which President Donald Trump quickly applauded on Twitter as a victory for the military, comes after the Congressional Progressive Caucus threatened in April to tank the measure. But most of the Progressive Caucus voted for the agreement on Thursday, pointing to increases in domestic spending. Facebook has dealt a massive blow to the police accountability movement, unpublishing Police to Police, the largest police accountability page on the platform. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A prison reform group issued a disturbing new study this week calling conditions in women's correctional facilities deplorably unsexy. The report contends that women's prisons are bleak, dangerous environments with shockingly few soapy showers and erotically charged pillow fights. According to the Prison Justice Initiative, quote, "It's a shame that in today's society we still have jails that don't encourage kittenish girl-on-girl exploration. Prison shouldn't be a hotbed of gang violence and drugs. It should be a steamy Shangri-La where caged nymphets discover the sexuality away from the leering eyes of male society." The investigation revealed living conditions that many are calling cruel and degrading, with not in a fun or kinky way. The study's author argues that incarceration should be about more than just punishment.
The purpose of prison isn't just to lock people in a box and forget about them. It's to provide opportunities for naughty girls to play nice with each other.
Next up, a team of jock scientists have reportedly thrown the cure for asthma onto the roof of the lab. We'll talk to the nerds struggling to retrieve it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and we're doing the live Sunday edition of the show. You're always, as always, invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've been talking about the apparent difficulties that are being brought about by this whole Me Too movement, where many people are adopting what some are calling the Billy Graham technique or method or whatever. Rule of not being seen, not going anywhere alone with another woman if you are significantly involved with a woman. Some are taking it even further and swearing off women entirely. You brought up the MGTOWs in the last hour, MGTOW. It stands for Men Going Their Own Way.
I don't think that's a swearing off of women. That's a realization or a belief that you're going to be better off if you just go and do your own thing and find the gal that's comes along through that.
So you're saying they're still open to being attracted to a woman. They're just not trying to make that happen.
Right. And I think that is to some extent misguided, but it
worked good for me for a while.
Well, I think it's definitely in response to current culture, though.
Yeah, I didn't call myself a MGTOW or anything like that. When I was 20 or whatever, I decided I didn't want to have a girlfriend at that time because I wanted to focus on my life and getting myself in a better position. And then I ended up just meeting some women through my normal course of doing my thing.
Yes, just doing life, and they'd come along.
Yeah,
I wrote an article about one of them that I just posted over at freekeen.com, which maybe I will read later tonight if we have time for it. Former co-host of ours and lady that I moved here to New Hampshire with, unfortunately passed away last weekend. But I met her in that method where I was just doing my own thing, and she came across this show, and we got together as a result of that. And I didn't really have to do anything, and it was great for a while. Let's go to Tom. He's in New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at a New York Times article on the internet. It's dated today. It's the fifth New York Police Department officer since June dies by suicide, police say. Of course, this is what the cops claim. But, 5 of them in the space just since June. And one thing that Mrs. Cop needs to think about, by the way, is that if her lover boy makes that choice, then she could very well wind up with the task of, the bureaucrats show up at the house, they do their thing, they remove the body, but they don't clean up the blood. And so she may wind up with the task of cleaning up the blood. So that's one thing. If she doesn't like that idea, she could give him a talking to about getting a job and working for a living. Or she could show him the news story from 28 December of 2015, where that cop in Ponce, Puerto Rico, was in police headquarters and he gunned down 3 cops. But I think
a cop shot other cops?
Yeah, in police headquarters.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, some kind of work complaint.
what I'm getting at is that she can talk him into getting a job and working for a living. And, it's really a simple enough thing to do.
If he committed suicide, how's she going to talk him into anything?
And
not simple.
I think he was suggesting that she could have done this prior to his suicide in order to give him a career worth living for. Is that what you're saying, Tom?
That's right. And then the other part of that is that, some of them, it's kind of like some queers that have been told that, you were born that way, there's nothing you can do about it, and they actually start to believe that, and they think that they're doomed to be a queer for the rest of their lives, so they commit suicide when all they have to do is straighten out. And, even
just straighten out. Hey, just straighten yourself out. Go to one of those courses taught by those religious zealots, and
Who cares what they're doing?
Scare the gay away, or whatever it is they call it. Pray the gay away. That's what they say.
Find somebody of the opposite sex.
You actually believe that crap? Are you like a repressed homosexual? Is that what's going on here, Tom? Are you one of those?
This is how the
homophobic
pro-queers try to intimidate people into shutting up. You're trying to.
No, I'm asking you to answer a question. I don't want you to shut up. I want you to answer the question.
Now, nor have I ever been a queer. However, I'm talking about.
Define queer. What is a queer?
A homosexual.
So
homosexual. Okay.
So you mean a man who would be sexually attracted to other men? You're saying that you've not had that attraction.
What about a guy who likes to try on his wife's underpants? Is that queer?
What I'm getting
Are you
at
saying he likes that?
No, I'm just asking a question.
And when you make that accusation, by the way, what you're doing
Who has
is
made an
you're
accusation?
admitting that the queers can be a gay man could find a woman to marry and have children with.
Some could.
I'm a man and I'm married to a woman and we have children. So if you're
just because you're gay doesn't mean you haven't gotten married to a woman. There have been a lot of gay men who, for the purposes of cover, have had a woman in their lives when they when it was
and fear of reprisal
at
the time.
Right, when it was something that they had to hide, when they felt like the society or family or whoever it was that they were around would not appreciate the fact that they were gay. They tried to hide it and cover it with that. But look, I mean, the idea, Tom, that people who are gay, you're suggesting it's a choice, and I'm telling you that every gay person who I've known has all of them, 100% of them told me they were born that way. Why would you disbelieve someone telling you that?
Because it's a bunch of baloney. They can simply go find somebody of the opposite sex to go on dates with.
They're not simply attracted to those people. You could go on a date with somebody that you're not attracted to, but what's the point?
Because that way they're not queers. Then they can
why does
out.
What? So in your mind, queer is so bad that you have to force yourself to go on a date with someone you're not attracted to just to maintain the appearance of being a straight person?
No, there's not an appearance anything. They really are. It's kind of like they're not queers anymore because they decided to be straight.
It doesn't
Simple
work
enough.
that way.
Yeah,
You don't just get to decide to whom you are attracted. Attraction, in my experience, doesn't work that way.
You're telling that. See, when you keep.
Are you attracted to some women, or are you attracted to all women, Tom?
I'm attracted to pretty women, but
Okay.
I'm a married man now.
Okay.
And
So you've determined that there is a difference when you're presented with a woman that's uglier versus a woman that is prettier.
Or a
You find
smoker.
yourself more attracted to the prettier one. So you can acknowledge that there's some level of attraction that is beyond your choice, something that is there inherently within whatever makeup that you have inside yourself.
and they can decide to stop going on dates
No.
with persons of the same sex.
They really
and
can't.
start
Well,
going on
they could decide not to. It's a folly choice.
Then they would not be living for whom they really are. They would then be trying to live according to Tom's beliefs and people like Tom's beliefs. And
telling
why
them
would
that
you
they're
want to
doomed
try to
to be a
change your
queer.
belief system in order to appease people? That's living your life for somebody else.
You're telling them, you're brainwashing them into believing that they're doomed to be a queer.
No,
for the
I'm not
rest of their
brainwashing them,
lives.
They're not
Tom.
doomed to be anything.
They
It's,
were
you know,
born that way. And that's what they will tell you. If you were to actually have a conversation with one of them and, I don't know, believe their word and take them as a human being that is being honest with you, as I have done, and we've had gay co-hosts on this program. We have one on Friday nights regularly.
What do you call
right
Aria?
now. Trans.
If you don't call Aria queer, I don't know what the hell you call her.
She is. She has had
tall
sex
dude
with both
in a skirt.
She has had sex. She's she with a penis. So she-male is a term that she uses to describe herself.
Yes, which is trolling of the highest order, ladies and gentlemen.
She has had sex with both males and females. So I don't know if you can call someone who's had sex with both a queer. I'm not sure if that is.
I think queer is a term that has been reclaimed with the intent to simply say, hey, I'm not the same.
I'm different
sexually and whatever.
Okay, so what you're saying is queer doesn't mean just homosexual.
By no means.
Okay.
I think Tom was using it in that fashion.
He was, for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for that call. Appreciate it. More coming up here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Tom says gay people can just decide not to be gay.
Good luck.
Uh-huh. If you want to comment on that, you're certainly welcome to do so. Plus, we got to get into the Me Too in the workplace story that you've got here, Richie, on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved LicoChops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want, even if you're a homophobe. We'll let you on the air. You might sound ridiculous, but that's your choice. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As we continue with you in the studio here, you've got Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Hey, local.bitcoin.com is open. It's coming up on its second full month of being there and available to make it easy for you to buy and sell Bitcoin Cash. You can use dozens of payment methods, including a bunch of international ones I've never heard of before, because it's an international website, and others that you're very familiar with, probably like PayPal or Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, or just meeting in person with cash. And there's no ID requirements in order to sign up for the site, which sets it apart from a lot of the other cryptocurrency trading sites out there. And also, communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So you actually have a global trading platform that finally respects your privacy. Just go to local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. I do it. I've got ads up there actually as we speak for cash deposits in bank accounts. So check that out at local.bitcoin.com. Aria is like the #1 seller, I think, right now on the website. When you go there, Aria Anarchist is the top most popular person for buying Bitcoin Cash, which is pretty cool. Our Monday night co-host.
Nice.
Who we were just talking about a few moments ago, and as to whether or not she's queer or whatever she is. So,
ask her.
yeah, she would be the best person to ask that question. You're right. And she's generally on Monday nights here on Free Talk Live. So let's jump into this story that you've got here, Richie, since we've been talking about people having some hesitation now these days when it comes to dating or getting into a relationship, or even so much as having a meal with somebody of the opposite sex. It's focused more on avoiding women. But the Me Too movement is rolled into all this, and you've got a story about how it's affecting workplace romance.
Yes.
Which most people, by the way, historically have been against. There's always that rule of you don't want to date somebody that you're working with. Have you heard this rule?
Yeah, I've never.
I'm not sure that's most
necessarily.
people. Yeah, I'm not sure that's most people.
I've heard that rule in a lot of places.
I've heard the rule.
Yeah.
And I can see advantages and disadvantages to it.
Well, the advantage is there's somebody right there, and you can easily get to know them, and whatever.
Yeah, you spend a good percentage of your waking hours at work.
The disadvantage is if you break up, you spend a good amount of your waking hours working with the very person who may decide to not take it real good when the breakup happens.
I guess
that's the biggest downfall.
Yeah,
that had never happened to me, but I've dated quite a few women that I've worked with, and whatever.
So none of them were a psycho ex-girlfriend, basically, is what you're saying.
Nope.
All right.
I mean,
good.
in work, you've got somebody there to control the situation. If she's going to get out of hand, then, hey, there's her boss to take care of it.
I see what you're saying. All right, let's get into the story. Where's it from?
Spiked Online.
Okay.
I don't know if it's...
Is that one of those like Spike TV? Is that like the men's channel?
I don't know how reputable the source is, but I think it's more editorial.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Opinion, sure.
Me Too, #MeToo has ruined the office romance. Only 1 in 10 couples now meet at work. How depressing. For most
What was it?
I don't know.
Okay.
For most people, work life can be long and boring. The prospect of bumping into your crush at the coffee machine can sometimes be the only thing that gets you through the day.
Oh, man, that's sad.
I mean,
but I believe it.
Yeah. Long bathroom breaks, water cooler breaks, whatever it takes.
And by the way, this does appear to be a female writing this story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some of the world's most famous couples met at work. Brad Pitt left his wife while working on a film with Angelina Jolie. Barack Obama managed to win the affection of Michelle, his mentor at a law firm. Ricky Gervais's hit TV series, The Office, captivated millions with its long, intense office romance between salesman Tim and receptionist Dawn. Forget bumping into your soulmate at a bar. Many of us are more interested in finding our partners in the stationery cupboard. But a recent survey shows that our love affair with office romance might be coming to an end. Data published in the Sunday Times, collected by Stanford University in California, shows that just 1 in 10 Americans now meet their partners at work. Half the proportion that did in the mid-90s.
Okay, so it's down by half. So it was 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Previously, now it's 1 out of 10.
Which is still not bad. I mean, given...
It's a statistically significant number.
I'd be curious to see what the other 9 out of 10 are. I mean, is it like 2 out of 10 meet on the internet now versus 1 out of 10 years ago?
It's probably significantly more online now.
What else?
I'm
what
also
else is shifting?
curious what about the sort of percentage of people who are in relationships? Because I kind of feel like fewer people are.
Really?
That people aren't meeting as much as they used to.
Even though they have at their fingertips a myriad of options that would allow them to meet.
Well, that's part of it.
I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
So there's too many choices?
Right. And so I saw, what, do you remember that cartoon on the internet that used to be very popular, like XNRDF or something? It was like
XKCD?
That's the one.
There you go.
Okay.
And it was 4 letters. And it said, it had 3 panels. And pardon me if I can't get this exactly right, but, the couple was shopping for something on the internet. And a lamp on the internet. And, they were juxtaposing. You used to go to a furniture store, look for a lamp, and buy a lamp.
Right.
Now, looking on Amazon, you're looking at all of the customer reviews on Amazon. This guy says that he got a concussion from the lamp, and sometimes it makes him taste oranges, and it looks like a uterus. And so just saying that at some point or another, you get into this information overload. And you no longer have a lamp. So we're sitting here in the dark because some lunatic on the internet thinks that he got cancer from the lamp and whatever. I think that too many options can be a bad thing. When you're scrolling, you're swiping left, you see a swipe right, and then, okay, so now they swiped right on each other. Maybe we'll go out, I don't know, sometime. I really don't like being outdoors. I mean, at this point, millennials are literally saying things like, I don't like to go outdoors. When I was a kid, I argued for that extra half an hour to be able to stay out later with my friends. And I've always gone out. Now that I'm married, I do far less of it. I certainly don't go out without my wife very often. But I simply don't understand. These people are like, I'd rather stay at home and look at the internet, cat pictures, and go out.
I'll say this as person who is in the room who is active on dating websites.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who, or at least women, there are a lot of women who are all about outdoorsy kind of activities. So I don't see that happening.
I don't mean going for a hike, Ian. I mean getting out of your house.
Don't you have to get out of your house to go for a hike?
I'm talking about getting out of your house in the evening.
To go out on a date? I don't know. I'm not clear either.
It used to be if you wanted to meet somebody, you either did it at a social club, a church, or a bar.
Right.
Okay.
And if you're choosing to stay home rather than go to the bar, you're less likely to meet somebody.
I see. So I thought you were commenting on the lack of activity.
I'm not talking about a hike.
Yeah.
You go on a hike by yourself.
You meant go outside into another place. Go outside of the house so you can then go into a bar.
So,
okay, now it's clear what you were saying.
I will say this. That was always my problem, like dating, before internet dating came along. Because I don't go to the bar.
You're not that old.
I don't. Right. Well, but I mean, I'm
in a relationship now.
Right. But I didn't go to bars. I didn't go to social clubs. I didn't do like social things. So it was
meet people.
I didn't meet people.
There's more on the way here. If you want to join us, your comments on dating as of today with Me Too, office dating, we got more on the way. 855-450 free if you want to jump in. It's Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the show. And you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the Me Too movement. Columnist at Spiked Online says that it has ruined the office romance. We're going to get into that further. Of course, you're welcome to comment on whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. It is a series of rooms available on our Discord server.
It's Tubes.
And Tubes will get you to the Discord server. You just go to discord.lrn.fm on your browser, and that'll take you there. You do need to have the Discord. You should have the Discord app. They've got a web version of it, but if you really want to have the maximum ability to use Discord, you got to grab the app. It's a free app, and our server is up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there's people in there all the time, it seems like, chatting about various different things. whether related to the show or completely unrelated. There's a bunch of different rooms, and like I said, during our live show, the top 4 rooms are called on-air call-in lines. So those are some of the voice chat rooms, because Discord's a chat server that has both text and voice channels. So you join one of those on-air call-in line rooms during our show. We'll see you in there. We'll jump in, and then you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with me, Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Richie, let's continue here from it's spiked-online.com. Just a lady talking about how apparently it used to be 2 out of 10 couples back in, was it the 80s?
90s.
Back in the 90s, had met at work, and now it's only 1 out of 10.
So
couples.
half, yes. Yeah. And we were talking about what online dating turned into. Well, that's coming up. The number of couples meeting at work is going down. The number meeting online or through dating apps is increasing.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Between 1995 and 2017, the proportion of American couples meeting through or as coworkers fell. I don't know. That makes no sense. Fell from 19 to 11%. In contrast, the proportion of couples meeting online rose from 2 to 39%.
Wow.
So a big jump.
Yeah.
Big jump. But again, these are percentages of couples meeting, not the sort of gross, like a comparison as to how many people are actually meeting and staying together and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Still, though, that's almost 4 out of 10 couples meeting online now.
Yeah. Again, it's convenient.
That's significant.
Yeah. It's convenient. It's safe to get to know someone before the weird bar meetup. And
right. And if you're at a bar, then everybody's a little half of the bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not getting exactly the exact idea of who this person is. I prefer social clubs and things like that. People sharing a mutual interest. I would rather see something like that personally, and that's how I met my wife. So.
British academics have found similar trends in the UK. There's nothing wrong with meeting a partner through a dating app, but the rise of Tinder and the fall of the office romance speaks to more than just a technological change. While the #MeToo movement was sparked by serious allegations of sexual assault, much of the subsequent discussion has largely focused on unwanted sexual attention. One consequence of MeToo has been to problematize everyday interactions between men and women, particularly in the workplace.
Right. So, what the incel, the MGTOW guys, the men's rights advocates, the dudes that are complaining online, what they will say is that sexual harassment is basically attention by somebody you don't find attractive.
I can see that. I might agree with that.
Attention after you've asked them to not give you that attention. That's what defines harassment. If you just say one thing to somebody and then they say, "Don't ever talk to me again," and you don't ever talk to them again, then that's not harassment. If you keep doing it, then that's harassment.
That's the definition that you use.
That's a legal definition of criminal harassment.
It's a legal definition. Yeah. Are you saying that women who go online and complain are using the legal definition of sexual harassment?
Know.
I can tell you, when I worked at the gym, that a young lady who, maybe now knowing this, she was hitting on me. I don't know what she was doing, but she came to me and she said, I can't believe this guy gave me his telephone number back there. This chick's hot.
Mm-hmm. He's harassing me.
And basically, said that it was awful. And I'm like, I don't blame him. I don't know what to do about this exactly. The young lady is very attractive, and a guy gave her his telephone number on a piece of paper, and she called that unacceptable, if not harassment.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Everybody can have their own definitions of words if that's what they want, but
sure.
Generally, legally, you're not harassing somebody until they've told you to stop.
I'm not arguing with your definition. Yeah. I'm arguing that some people do not abide by your definition.
No
some
doubt.
of those people are women.
Right, and the incel MGTOW crowd. Where I would agree with them is there's like acceptable at work office flirtations, right? And it's usually between people who don't care that it's going on.
Yes.
Right? And it's mostly attractive people flirting with each other.
Yes.
And if the
I could have this if I wanted to kind of interaction.
Right.
Yep.
And if the unattractive person tries to have that same interaction with the attractive person, it will be seen as harassment or bothersome.
I can see that.
Right. So when they're complaining that it's only that attractive people are allowed to sexually harass, It's because it's unwanted by them,
right,
and accepted by attractive people in general.
Let me wax proud and vain for a moment.
You are a handsome man.
Okay.
I will. I used to just go through the Clear Channel, gals that work there like a dating pool. Oh, we have a new one. Excellent. Thank you, Jim. And
Jim was the general manager.
Jim was the general manager, and yes, I had this kind of relationship with them and them with me.
Sure.
And you're right. None of the unattractive ones ever stepped across the line and acted that way towards me. And I would have certainly considered it unwelcome, but I would have also considered it karma, and I would have played along.
Sure.
Just because I didn't, and there's plenty of these women that were at this place that I did not, plow their fields, as it were. And
Sheila Diamond. The general sales manager.
She was my boss.
I know.
And she never.
And not particularly attractive.
Did that.
Either.
Well, that's your opinion.
Oh, you were into okay.
I'm not
claiming
that I
floats your
was.
boat.
I'm just not going to. I'm not going to take a stand one way or the other. But I get where you're coming from, and I tend to agree.
Yeah. And that's the general complaint is that some males or females are allowed to do it and some aren't.
Sure.
And then they're the ones being discriminated against. All right. Where was I?
I don't see who could disagree with that. There's probably someone, but
Rush Limbaugh used to do a bit called Uglo Americans.
Okay.
And this was basically
was this when he was Fat Rush?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That we're going to devolve into this sort of discrimination where Uglo Americans were the only sort of group that you couldn't discriminate against somebody for being ugly. You just couldn't do it. And I think we're totally there now.
I can see that.
And I mean, there's so many examples of where it's like, for instance, feminists who are overweight, have piercings everywhere, and their hair is chartreuse, are complaining that some women in their office are sexually harassed.
Complaining on behalf of the other women,
Yes.
even if they didn't ask them to.
Correct. And I think that this is going to be the turning point at some point where the women are like, hey, thanks, we'll take care of this from here. Because best I can tell, the ladies tend to figure this out relatively young, that, hey, I think the guys like us, and that we might be able to use this to our advantage.
Well, you find a powerful guy, you can advance your career unless they don't want to hang out with you.
Right.
There you go. And imagine what it's like to be somebody who's like, I'm never going to find a powerful guy because the powerful guys are all looking at those ladies over there, and I'm not one of them. That would suck.
Yeah, but it's a natural course of order, man.
It is, and it's going to be complained about.
It should be no surprise that in today's fraught climate, fewer people feel comfortable taking a risk with someone they fancy at work. Companies are responding to the sexual harassment panic by banning alcohol from office parties.
Yeah.
And
That's the whole reason to go to the office party, right?
It could be. I work in restaurants, man, and I'm surprised. I'm always surprised at how often people will
come into work sober.
No, come to work to drink. I was like, dude,
on the job, you mean?
No, just
after the fact, they'll come into their
patronize our restaurant. And I go,
yeah,
don't get drunk here. Because the boss is going to see what you're like drunk. Go someplace else and get drunk.
Did they get a break though on the alcohol? Do they get it cheaper?
I don't know. I don't drink, so I never bothered.
All right, there's more on the way here. 855 450 free. If you want to join us, you can. We're talking about Me Too and office romance. It's Free Talk Live.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771. For your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
This is George
George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit GCNLife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at GCNLife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The Me Too movement, is it actually making it more difficult for couples to meet at work? Statistics suggest that may be the case. Now, of course, correlation isn't causation, but nonetheless, apparently the number of couples that are citing workplace as how they got together has dropped by half in the last couple of decades. We're going to continue with more from that story. Your calls and thoughts are welcome, though. Going to the phones next. Numbers 855-450-FREE like freedom. By the way, I want to say thanks to Bitcoin Photographer. Bitcoin Photographer is a Free Talk Live silver amplifier, which means that I think it's a he is contributing $5 a month to the Free Talk Live AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's a way for you to get behind what we do here to help us get on more great radio stations around the U.S. and spread the messages, the message of freedom and liberty, peace, and cryptocurrency as far and as wide as we can do. And you get some cool perks as a thank you for being a Free Talk Live amplifier. So please head over to amp.freetalklive.com and get started there. You can sign up with PayPal. You can use credit card. You can use Bitcoin BTC. That's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phone calls that are waiting patiently. We got Jim in Virginia Beach listening to WNIS. Hello, Jim.
How you doing? I guess it really depends on where your workplace is as well. Like the office, it's tough to say that it's pretty much common sense whether you have the quote unquote green light. But common sense really isn't that common, so a lot of people, kind of get out of their lane a little bit on that.
Yes.
I don't even know if it's common sense.
What?
Yeah.
You don't think it's common to know?
I would say it's.
Go ahead.
It's kind of led by the female. You hate to say that, but it sort of is.
Oh, it's the truth. If ladies don't know it, ladies, you have the keys to the sex machine.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely noticeable. However, from a guy's perspective, it's not immediately obvious, right? Like you have to take a small risk and put out feelers and engage the response of the female on whether or not you have the green light or not.
Has a lot to do with eye contact.
Sure. But I don't think that it's necessarily common sense. Like, oh yeah, these are the protocols and the standards of how I operate in the office and how I'm talking to females. If your goal is to like flirt and develop a relationship,
I think that the workplace is getting more and more rife with problems as far as starting a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. HR wants nothing to do with it.
No. HR does not want you fooling around at work.
It's a nightmare for them.
Yeah. And I worked let's just say a popular nightclub in this area, and we kind of sort of had a rule, and I don't know how much you want to say on the radio, but you leave the final undressing, if you will, to the other person. You don't leave that. If they do it, then okay, green light, if you will. But you never make that move. It saves you a lot of conversation the next day.
I'm confused. The final undressing in what context?
What context do you think? You let the other person undress you the final little bit.
Okay.
No.
I don't know if he was working at a strip club or
themselves. Okay.
No, say you go home, you have a nightcap, and everything's going fine.
Yeah.
She takes, you start undressing. You let them take their own garments off, if you will.
Got it. I was confused with that
And it saves
too.
a long conversation the next day saying, hey, I just want to hang out and relax. You went there. So that was just kind of a rule, and it seemed to do very well with us.
So y'all were allowed to date amongst the workers. It's just the rule was you had to take your own clothes off, not take the other person's clothes off, is what you're saying.
Well, it's a lot like a baseball rule. It's kind of an unwritten rule.
Yeah.
I think most baseball rules are written down.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I reached over and I did that, then I'm saying, hey, I want you in my life. If I'm just willing to relax and say, hey, look, we've gone far enough, but you took it one step further, I don't have to.
You're saying it'd be less likely that there would be an accusation of
I don't have to explain where I went
assault.
the next day. You went there.
Gotcha.
Well, I would suggest that another issue with the Me Too movement is people being able to change their minds after the fact on what is construed as like rape or molestation. And if they like, well, I was fine at the time, but now I feel dirty about it, therefore...
Well, right. What's to say they're not going to just lie about it? Well, so-and-so took my pants off, and I told him not to, even though you didn't actually do that. If nobody's there to say otherwise, it's he said versus she said. Jim, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you.
I don't think it's the worst way to figure out whether or not the person's interested, though.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yes, if somebody wants to change the narrative of what occurred afterwards, then that person can do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, this whole basketball guys getting people to sign contracts before sex and stuff I've heard about. How in the world, A, do you ever get that done? And B, sign here, initial here, and initial here.
Well, and years
here,
ago, that was lampooned on Chappelle's show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now it's real.
Now it's real.
But you can just have it. You just fill it out yourself.
Check the boxes on
here she is.
things that I'm allowed to do.
She filled this out. Here's a piece of paper.
It's like a BDSM contract for regular sex.
Let's go to the phones here. We got Keith in Virginia, also listening to WNIS. Hey, Keith, go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Ian?
You're on the air.
Good, thank you. And Mark, and who's your third co-host?
Richie Rich.
From
Richie
the
Rich.
Anarchist
Okay.
Experience, which is his podcast.
Thank you.
At, is it anarchistexperience.com?
It is.
That's where you can go to get more of Richie Rich. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay, thanks. Sorry you're not on Saturday night on WNIS.
We are too. We are too. Hopefully someday we'll be back on Saturday nights, but they had another thing they had to do, and we're easy to move around, so that's okay. It's okay with us.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're there.
Yeah.
For accessible in all kinds of ways, so that's really good. And thank you all for your service too.
Happy
hey,
to help.
just real quick, I heard about, came across somebody that was, I don't want to give his name, but maybe I can find out from you later if number 500 on your Free State project, if he moved there. So,
I don't have a
anyway.
list of who's got what numbers. I don't think that list is public, so we don't know who number 500 is, and so therefore we wouldn't be able to tell you that. We're just a radio show.
All right, not a problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to thank you all for your service for the country and for all of us. And one of your good allies who's fighting for our liberty too is somebody I mentioned before, Larry Nichols, and I want to give a shout out. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Well, we don't do shout outs here on Free Talk Live generally, but the name sounds familiar. Who is Larry Nichols?
Well, you can he's been fighting against the bad guys for the past 30 years and goes back to the 90s, and he's been fighting the deep state all these years.
Okay. I now the names, I'm looking him up here, and I remember his name associated with some of the Bill Clinton conspiracies. Was he trying to out the Clintons for some of their nastiness?
Yeah, he was doing, helping us out. I guess the good guys in the country in opposition to what their plans and activities were, and still are.
Yeah, it looks like he's still kicking, born in 1950. He's now 69 years old. What is he doing these days, do you know?
Well, he has a YouTube channel, and he does a regular YouTube, but the problem is he's got some severe medical problems, but man, he's an old a Green Beret and, a real fighter, and he's fighting through all of his extreme medical challenges. We're trying to get everybody to help him out with his medical treatment costs. And so I'm just asking everybody, if you love liberty and you want to help out, he's doing some great things behind the scenes with a lot of his contacts, and very effective and everything. But
says here he used to be a hitman for the Clintons. That he claimed that he was a hitman for them.
Yeah, as I understand what came up, and he corrected that, and to the point that he's been all these years, or for several years, and at that particular time, in medical treatments and on medication, and so that did not come out accurately. So he corrected that.
You're saying he misspoke when he said that he was a paid killer?
Yeah, he was not.
An economic hitman.
A strange thing to misspeak about.
Yeah, a hitman could describe a variety of career choices.
Well, now I don't know if this is a true claim. Obviously, I'm just reading it off the internet, but the claim was that he was on some sort of a what they call a fringe radio show here on Truth or Fiction, claiming that he was sent overseas by the Clintons to actually murder people. Thank you for the call, Keith. I don't know if that's true, though. It's just claim on the internet. Appreciate it.
He's changed his ways.
There's more on the way. You can take control of the airwaves. Hour number 3 is next, whether you want to talk about relationships or whatever's on your mind. It's Free Talk Live.
Are you able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, without having to check in with anyone? Or are you stuck in a job, business, relationship, or marriage where you can't do what you want, where you're pretty much a glorified prisoner? I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create location-independent income under a flexible schedule and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,418, silver at $16.38, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,142. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime personal pilots have been subpoenaed by federal prosecutors in Manhattan, according to the Wall Street Journal. The grand jury subpoenas were served earlier this month following Epstein's July 6 arrest in New Jersey on charges of sex trafficking minors. He has pleaded not guilty to the years-long scheme in which prosecutors allege the wealthy financier sexually abused dozens of young girls from 2002 to 2005. Some of whom recruited other victims. The Mind Unleashed reports it's unknown how many of Epstein's pilots were subpoenaed, or whether they're cooperating witnesses. According to court documents from prior cases, Epstein employed David Rogers, Larry Vasosky, Larry Morrison, and Bill Hammond as pilots and flight engineers. Rogers, Vasosky, and Morrison have previously testified in civil depositions. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In the latest move to undermine the separation of church and state in the United States, a new law in South Dakota is requiring all public schools in the state to prominently display the motto, "In God We Trust." The Mind Unleashed reports the new law, which decrees that schools must emblazon the message across 149 South Dakota school districts, was pushed by lawmakers who argue that the theological slogan is meant to inspire patriotism. Governor Kristi Noem signed off on the law in March. The law requires that the motto must be both legible and 12 by 12 inches in size. In a Thursday Twitter post, the governor said, quote, "We should never be afraid to proclaim that we are one nation under God," end quote. The new law has provoked controversy in many of the state's communities, with critics condemning the law as part of a stealth campaign aiming to infuse religious indoctrination into state legislation. In a bipartisan deal that one anti-war critic said demonstrates how thoroughly broken and captured Washington is by the Pentagon, 219 House Democrats and 65 Republicans on Thursday voted to approve a budget agreement that includes $1.48 trillion in military spending over the next 2 years. Just 16 Democrats, including Representatives Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley, voted against the two-year, $2.7 trillion budget agreement. Largely due to expressed concerns about the deficit, 132 Republicans also voted no. The final vote was 284 to 149. The House passage of the budget deal, which President Donald Trump quickly applauded on Twitter as a victory for the military, comes after the Congressional Progressive Caucus threatened in April to tank the measure. But most of the Progressive Caucus voted for the agreement on Thursday, pointing to increases in domestic spending. Facebook has dealt a massive blow to the police accountability movement, unpublishing Police to Police, the largest police accountability page on the platform. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. All 7 deadly sins were committed at a church bake sale. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Avarice, sloth, envy, lust, gluttony, pride, and wrath. All 7 of the fabled deadly sins were committed on Sunday at the twice-annual bake sale at St. Mary's of the Immaculate Conception Church. According to St. Mary's treasurer, Beth Ellen Coyle, church-sponsored events are a notorious breeding ground for these treasonous acts against the Lord God.
This is supposed to be about the glorification of God, not violating His word. Do that and you're no better than that cheap strumpet Melissa Wyckoff with those sinful chocolate cookies of hers.
The 7 deadly sins were first outlined in the 5th century by Gregory the Great, who himself was, as indicated by his very name, toying dangerously with the sin of pride. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, launching into the 3rd hour of this live Sunday edition. You may join us on the radio waves by dialing in toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
We've been talking about relationships, specifically at-work relationships. Apparently, the statistics are showing that they are down from where they were as far as how many couples today met while at work together. Whether they're still at work together, I guess, is another question, but that's how they got together. And,
in the era of #MeToo.
Yeah, and apparently it's gone down. The number of at-work formed relationships has gone down by half, from about 2 out of 10 relationships having met at work to now about 1 out of 10 in roughly the last 20 or 30 years or so. And that's kind of where we started this story. We can continue with it. There's more from, what was it?
Spiked-online.com.
Spiked-online. And the lady who's writing this, I believe, I was looking at some of her other work, she seems to be anti-feminist.
Good.
So anyway, go ahead with more.
All right. So we talked.
Look,
Yes.
as far as good goes, I'm all for people, feminists who want women to be equal.
Sure, but there's different types of feminism, right? There's
Right.
like first wave, second wave, third
wave is kind of where
Don't
we're
forget the TERFs.
What's that?
Trans exclusionary radical feminists.
Those are the ones who don't like trans people.
Trans women, trans people, men that have turned into women.
You think they're okay with women who've turned into men?
Sure, they would probably consider them women.
Okay. So they wouldn't exclude them?
Right.
I see.
It's a weird category where you think they would get along and then they don't.
Yeah.
Companies are responding to the sexual harassment panic by banning alcohol from office parties, instituting policies on how long and how close personal interaction should be. Bosses who hug their employees are even making headline news.
Jeez.
Stanford's survey data shows that office romances reached their peak in the 1980s. At that time, there was a flush of women entering the workplace. No doubt.
I wonder why.
Government interference in something or other causing low income and people needing multiple sources of income and wives going back to work.
All right.
Abbreviated. No doubt, some men of that area were a bit too forthright with their affection.
Agreed. I remember going to mechanic shops where there'd be the naked gal holding tools calendar. I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Yep, I've seen those as well as a child. Because my dad, used to go to like an auto body place to work on a car.
Yeah.
And I got to use the bathroom, and you go in the bathroom, and there it is.
And it's very interesting.
And you knew it, and he didn't?
Well, no, he did, because he used the
did.
same bathroom.
Okay.
It wasn't his shop, but I'm sure you can't avoid it. If you go to the bathroom, it's on the wall. Fast forward to very interesting. Fast forward to 2017, just after an international panic over sexual harassment, and the number of workplace romances is at an all-time low. Given that most of us spend the majority of our waking lives at work, this is a pretty depressing development. Here's why I wanted to continue. The truth that no one seems willing to admit is that many heterosexual women, even today, expect men to make the first move in a relationship.
They do. Yep.
Women will drape ourselves over the printer, wear our best dresses to the Christmas party, and talk loudly about the imaginary man texting us, all to subtly signal to our target that he should make a move.
That's a bad system. If you're telling me that you have a boyfriend,
right,
I'm not going to want to go out with you.
But it makes her more desirable because another man desires her.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
There are some people who believe this, though, right?
I don't think it's necessarily belief. I think there's some psychological, reason behind it.
I've definitely heard the reverse is true about women who will pursue a man because he's taken.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. I have never
if he's got a ring on
it.
his finger, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, well, maybe that's just somebody who wants to get you into a blackmail situation. Maybe
or
they don't
it's
actually
just somebody
like
who's interested
women.
in conquest.
Could be that.
Yeah.
I don't think
but
so.
What conquest for what purpose? Conquest,
For the sake of conquest.
Conquest tends to happen historically because of exploitation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to conquer somebody, I know a guy, right? And he hired this gal into his place, and she was, flirty and interested and all this stuff. And, pretty soon he's in a situation where he's done some things that now he doesn't want his wife to find out about.
So she's got him.
She needs a loan.
I think it triggers a similar response that people get with cognitive dissonance and buyer's remorse over buying things. When you buy a high-ticket item, you immediately want to justify it by having someone praise you for that purchase or having someone make a similar purchase as you to say, like, look, I am not the only one who spends this kind of thing, money on this kind of thing.
Yep.
So when you see a man who has a ring on his finger or is known in a relationship, or female, but for our sake, men, it triggers that response like someone else finds this desirable, therefore it's okay for me to find this desirable as well because someone else does, right? Like now it's okay, right? Like it's not why is he single? What's wrong with him? It's like, oh no, he obviously has something of value to offer in their relationship. Otherwise he wouldn't be married or in a relationship. And now that is someone who has something worth pursuing.
Perhaps.
Let's hold the rest of this and bring Dana on the line in Michigan, listening to WTKG. Go ahead, Dana.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hi there.
Hey,
so
Dana.
Here's the thing. My comment is I am not surprised that workplace relationships, I would tend to believe that survey, that workplace relationships have gone down for two simple factors. One, men don't want to lose their jobs because of false accusations or any kind of accusation, whether it's true or not. And secondly, people sue people with deep pockets. So the woman's going to go after the employer, and they have done so successfully in the past. And so, this Me Too movement has guys so confused. They have no idea what to do. And I want to comment on the Me Too movement.
Sure.
Please don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. We all know rape is not about sex. It's about control and violence.
I've heard that. I don't know if I can entirely understand, but okay.
I'm not talking about rape. I'm not talking about sexual assault. But I'm going to tell you guys something. The hypocrisy of Hollywood knows no end. This Me Too movement first was written about many, many years ago by a black woman, but they jumped on the bandwagon and made it global when Rose McGowan, who is an actress, she was the one that was either married or shacking up with Marilyn Manson. She's the one that first accused Harvey Weinstein of raping her. Now, if he raped her, okay, fine, but why didn't she go to the police right away? I want to tell you the problem I have with this. Now, when you dress inappropriately, that doesn't give someone the right to rape you.
Nope,
but if a man is sick and he's got problems with control and violence issues, that's going to invite a sick person to do something stupid. Now, Rose McGowan showed up at a black tie. You can Google this. I remember when it happened. This was several years back, probably a decade, in a dress with dental floss on her bottom, and the dress was made out of chain link. Everything was exposed. So any magazine that photographed her had to put a box over her butt and over her breast. These women in Hollywood, they all jump on the bandwagon. They have no individual brains that process things on their own. And by God, if you're on the wrong side in Hollywood, you'll never work again. They wear things slit up to their navel or down to their navel. They're showing side boob, but yet they're crying, me too, me too. Another example of this, if you remember correctly,
So hold on, just to slow down for just a moment here. So what you're saying is, and I did pull up the photographs here of this chain link dress.
Can't wait for the break.
And hang on, Dana, we'll bring you back so you can continue with your thoughts.
Guys.
But basically saying that Rose McGowan is taking a contradictory position. She's saying on one hand, I should be free to show off my body completely naked, and on the other hand, I should also be free to be upset when men leer at me or go further than that. There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want here. Phone lines, by the way, loaded up. So if you can't get through there, you ought to call on our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You'll sound better there, by the way, if you do that. Just go to discord.lrn.fm to jump into one of those rooms. There's a little bit of hoop jumping involved. You know, you have to download an app. You have to register for an account. You have to then connect to our server at discord.lrn.fm. So, you know, you're going to need 5 minutes to get this set up. But once you have it set up, you'll have the app from that point forward, and then you can easily join that room by just simply clicking on the room anytime you want to call in, and that's faster than dialing a phone and then being screened by the call screener, the network, and then, you know, waiting on hold. You'll still probably wait on hold for some amount of time, but I tend to like the Discord callers more than I like the phone calls, just because it's easier to understand people.
You like audio quality, that's why.
I do.
That's his preference.
Sometimes it's hard to understand somebody on a phone line. It's just, you know, the audio fidelity just isn't there. So it's hard to make out some words sometimes. Anyway, we'll continue with your calls and thoughts. We've been discussing the Me Too so-called movement and the possible effects that it has had on dating in the workplace. And Dana in Michigan has had some comments, and you had more that you wanted to share, Dana, so you're back on. Go ahead.
Okay. So the other thing is, if people recall the Obama administration, any young man could be accused of, now I'm not talking about these evil pigs who rape a woman who is semi-conscious or unconscious because of drugs or alcohol in college, or there's multiple men, you know, they do the gang thing. I'm not talking about that. So I want to be absolutely clear with anyone who's listening. We know what the lines are, but you could, under Obama, and I believe they undid that under DeVos, his education secretary, that a man or the young man's attorney has the right to question the accuser. Under Obama, anyone that made a false accusation, no matter what the girl did, and so many of these were false accusations. They changed their mind. They had boyfriends. They didn't want to lose the boyfriend. If he found out, blah, 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 they were feeling bad about themselves.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. Blah, blah. So but I don't think that Obama could change.
You guys.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't think the Obama administration could change the legal system, but certainly that happened at colleges. So there were plenty of colleges that sort of decided they were going to take care of this internally, which is both good and bad. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't understand.
No, I meant that, Mark.
Okay.
I didn't mean Obama did this as a federal law. I mean at the universities.
Okay.
During his administration.
I could accuse you, Mark, of anything I wanted to.
Right.
You had no right to even question me because quote unquote, it would re-traumatize me.
Right.
I don't blame you guys. That's why they have these millennials. In fact, there was a study, I think there's 2 of them out there. I'm familiar with one, where these women have slept around, the millennial generation have slept their way through college, many, many partners, and it's doing all kinds of emotional and psychological damage. You think?
So you're saying
mean,
that's
you
not
cannot-
empowering, that the women who would...
Sexual liberation.
No, and that's what they were told by these. You guys mentioned the third wave. If you count the 90s, some people refer to these crazies running around calling themselves feminists as the fourth wave. Some call it the third wave. Trust me, I have scoured many, many, many videos and still photos of the Women's March. None of those feminists are ever going to be sexually harassed, so they don't have a problem with that. But I find it beyond hypocritical that you're telling young women it's so empowering to go and screw anybody you want and have even multiple partners in a day. That's cool. We're down with that. And then you go and cry rape when there are people that are nameless, faceless women that are being assaulted. This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But anything coming out of Hollywood is a bunch of crap. Let me give you just one more thing I want you to look
real
at.
fast.
Just in the last week and a half, The Lion King debuted, and they had a bunch of royalty over in London. And so they had a big red carpet thing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the dress that Beyonce is wearing. That woman has made hundreds of millions. She's worth over $300 million, not counting her husband.
You think she could buy a dress that covered something?
by shoving her private parts in people's faces at her concerts to cover up for her no talent.
Thanks for the call
overrated
tonight,
that.
Dana. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Is that the only reason why Beyonce is a success, is because she's not afraid to show off her assets? Or is
She married a popular guy.
Or is
guy.
she actually, a talented singer? I don't know. I'm not very familiar with her products. So.
I wouldn't come out. I like, the put a ring on it thing.
That's her song? Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about her work. I wouldn't propose to know. I do have this one thing to say about Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
I don't know anything about what happened with Harvey Weinstein, but I can imagine a situation where, a young producer who's developed a certain level of influence has when you have a situation where you have 10 attractive women
They all want a job.
Relatively equal acting skills.
Mm-hmm.
This happens in Hollywood, right?
Sure.
You're going to have
a lot of attractive women.
A lot of people, attractive people looking for a job, and they can all act sufficiently.
They want to get their big break.
Now those women have to differentiate themselves somehow from the other women. I wouldn't doubt if somehow some lady at some point in Harvey Weinstein's past career said, I've got to differentiate myself, and this guy doesn't seem too bad. I'll differentiate myself here. And goes ahead and differentiates herself, vigorously. And
by dyeing her hair pink?
Somehow or another. Okay. I don't know how she does it. But, then maybe a young man might come to the conclusion that, this is really great. I wonder how often I can get this to happen.
Frequently, I would imagine.
And then
in that position.
attempts to go on from there. And I don't know. I know that some producers have certainly, the casting couch is real. However, the opposite is real too.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story, I forget who it was, about one of these female producer/directors who also wanted a sexual favor from one of, I don't know if it was a male star or a female star, but it wasn't always just, the male producers. It could also be the female ones, because, power is what power is, and it does what power does to people.
Well, I don't think that people want to have sex, and if they have power, well, if they have anything, they will attempt to trade for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't call it
I'm just saying they're wielding their power. I'm saying it's both a male, not necessarily just a male thing. I've heard at least one story of a female producer putting women in a similar circumstance. The toll-free number here is 855-450. Was it Penny Marshall? 855-450.
Oh, God, you shouldn't guess a name in a circumstance like that.
3733. You can bring up whatever you want here.
Completely that's
irresponsible.
Irresponsible.
Take control of the airwaves. It was some female director. There aren't that many of them. We're coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
It's not a save.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISSparis.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Patrons at a local Boston sports club watched dumbfounded today as an unidentified man's personal trainer forced him to put on an embarrassing athletic spectacle for the entire gym.
Like a machine, there you go.
According to sources, the degrading little show went on for nearly 45 minutes, with the man reportedly being paraded around every section of the fitness establishment, doing anything his trainer commanded.
I wish I could turn around and concentrate on my workout, but I can't help but keep watching. He has to know how ridiculous he looks.
Sources added that the whole spectacle was made even sadder by the personal trainer encouraging the man to, quote, push himself a little harder.
It's like watching a trained SEAL.
Okay, so when you stand like that, you want to feel pressure in your knees, like this, right here, okay? Okay, give it a shot.
You root for him to tell the trainer that he's a human being with dignity and just walk away. But no, he keeps subjecting himself to this.
All right. Let's have you get on your back, walk like a crab. Come on.
This is the Onion News Network.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. 855-450-3733. I would like to apologize to Penny Marshall because it turns out she's actually dead, and I don't know if that means that she didn't ostensibly molest somebody, but that wasn't who I was thinking of. I forget who it was. It was like in all the recent coverage of all the male directors and producers and such, just to kind of give a counter story, although I suspect it's still mostly the males that do it, but then again, it's mostly males that are producing and directing films. As well. And so, again, my point is, I don't think women are immune to wanting sex and also wielding power. If they were in more powerful positions, you may see more behavior like that on their parts, presuming people out them and come out of the closet and reveal what the allegations were, because many of them don't. You know, how long did it take for Rose McGowan, who was brought up earlier, to make the allegations about Harvey Weinstein? It wasn't right away. It was a decade or so later, was it not?
Look, I haven't looked into the Weinstein situation. This is hot. This is a hot button issue, and I'm not going to go state something that is that I don't know to be 100% true.
That's why I asked the question.
But certainly, lots of ladies, came out about Weinstein later, probably because in some cases they didn't feel like they could be heard, that no one was going to listen to them. In other cases, it's probably because it's like, oh, yeah, I would have preferred not to have to do that particular yucky deed, but I knew I had to get the job. So if you don't want to do something, but you choose to do it, that's not rape.
Yep. And I'll also say real quick, when males do come out, they're typically, lampooned and laughed at for making the same type of claims. Right? Like, you're not allowed to be raped or sexually harassed as a man because women don't do that to men.
Didn't they drop the charges against Kevin Spacey? I thought I saw, again, I also don't follow these things closely, but remember there was recently accusations by what was then a young teenage male that was like the son of some rich person in Boston or something like that, who was at a party, and apparently Kevin Spacey allegedly came on to him pretty hot and heavy, and then there were allegations and an arrest, and apparently those charges have been dropped, I believe I saw. I'm not sure if that's because the witness recanted the testimony, or maybe the prosecutors...
Or there was a check.
Or the prosecutors decided they didn't have enough evidence.
Settled outside of court.
That could happen too. So you can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Let's continue with Michael on the line in North Carolina. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't bother you, but I've been imagining what you look like naked.
All right.
Why would that bother me?
I hope it's a good vision.
Bro.
I'm just a little chubby.
It's probably not going to be that exciting for you.
For the right price, you don't have to imagine it.
Thanks for the call. I'm glad he called about that instead of what his the screened topic was. The screened topic was flat Earth. I'd much rather have that comment than talking about the flat Earth.
Flat abs.
Yeah. Let's continue here. We've got Mary Ellen on the line in Maryland. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Mary Ellen.
Hi there. I understand you were talking about Larry Nichols earlier, and I wanted to set the record straight.
Okay, sure.
That false rumor of Larry being a hitman for the Clintons and murdering people was based on an interview that was never supposed to happen with Pete Santilli. Larry has explained this over and over and over and over on his YouTube channel. He had just come out of surgery. He had just said to his wife, "Isn't that funny? Look at Bill Clinton dancing on the table, over the bed." And he was still in the recovery room. He had called Pete Santilli's office to set up an interview upcoming, and he did not know. He was not made aware that they had switched on the recording to record it. And
so he was still kind of loopy on drugs then.
He was just coming out of anesthesia.
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting.
So, yeah, still under anesthesia. Now, they used to have a term called kill them while they're young. That was a phrase they used that basically meant nip it in the bud.
Yeah,
makes sense. That's what Larry thought they were talking about. The whole thing was a hoax. Pete Santilli took that video down when Larry complained about it, but somebody had already captured it and has kept it on YouTube. And so the whole thing is a total it's just not true.
Okay.
Right.
So are you saying that I mean, I don't know anything about this. All I know is what I've read, right? And that may or may not be true.
More than me.
This link here at trutherfiction.com saying that this is unproven, that these allegations are unproven. The claim is that he said that the Clintons sent me overseas to kill people for them and told me it was for the good of the country. So when they asked me to do it for them in the States, it felt no different. The real truth is I did it for the money, and I didn't give an S about the women I beat and the men I murdered. Now, are you saying that he actually said that quote in this interview and that he was just loopy and that somehow that, or that the quote itself is just false?
I can't address that because I don't have proof of that. So I won't
no, but
say
have you
anything
heard
that
the
I can't.
ostensible interview, I guess is what I'm asking you. You'd called to rebut saying that in this interview he was on drugs and coming out of anesthesia, so therefore he shouldn't be responsible for what came out of his mouth. I don't know if that's generally true. Like if you put somebody under a bunch of alcohol or drugs and they say something,
if you've seen some of the anesthesia videos of people coming out, they say some funny and ridiculous things. So I don't know if I would hold them to account of what they said coming out of anesthesia.
I would not.
Okay.
Now Larry has admitted that he has hit women. He did that back then. But listen,
hold on, as an employee of the Clintons, that he beat women, or that he just hit them like because he was in a relationship with them?
As an employee.
I see.
He was under their employ, but he did not kill for them. He has always denied that. And the things he did, he has admitted in many videos that he had done. And but the murder issue, he has vehemently denied and said that was never supposed to be recorded. He thought he was setting up an interview and didn't know during the conversation that the conversation had been recorded. So he is promising to stop the impeachment, and
how would he be able to stop the impeachment? He's just a commentator, right?
Larry Nichols is not just a commentator.
What does he do?
Larry Nichols is the one responsible for the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
Okay, but aren't you saying he's going to stop the impeachment of Trump, or whose impeachment is he going to stop?
He's going to stop the impeachment of Trump.
Well, how's he going to do that?
He has a way to do it.
He's going to beat some people, isn't he? That's what you're saying. Thanks for the call tonight. Let's go to David in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, Penny Marshall's boyfriend was my massage client on a regular basis.
You know everybody. It's amazing.
I know everybody. Oh, and I was David Brent before David Brent was David Brent.
Who's David?
I don't know who that is.
The Ricky Gervais, The Office, David Brent, his character.
Yeah. It's a shame. We just don't know enough.
I've seen The Office. It was a funny show. I've never watched it more than once. Apparently, a lot of people are quite obsessed with that television program.
It's got its own Reddit subchannel.
Wow. That's probably true of a lot of shows. David, what were you calling about? Were you just calling to, throw out some star names?
No, because I've been on hold while you discussed Penny Marshall. I'm calling solely on your content, and as long as I gave the tease of what do lawyers use for birth control, let's go with that to start to get into it because it ties into what I'm going to tell you. So, do you know?
No.
What do lawyers use for birth control?
Their personality.
That's your problem, Ian. You've been using that all along.
Hang on, David. We'll bring it back here. I know you had something else to say, and if you want to join us.
Speaking of people you know, I would love to know this police officer named Rob Banks.
Is it real?
Yes, I got a picture of him on TV. The internet has found a police officer named Rob Banks.
What town? What city?
He's it's over in England because his name's PC.
He's a Bobby? Is he a Bobby?
Well, he's not wearing a dumb hat.
Okay, 855-450 free like freedom. You can join us in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live. Coming up.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Yep, Free Talk Live. Moments remain here on the live Sunday edition of the show. As always, you can join us here. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you tonight, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're open and available and on the Discord server. at discord.lrn.fm. That's one of the myriad of features we have on the site. There's also our forum. So Discord's a chat server. That's sort of like in the moment, as it's happening kind of discussion. Forums, on the other hand, are more organized. You have topics and such that you can comment on. In fact, one of our chatters has recently just logged into the forum for the first time, posted an introduction. So head on over there and say welcome if you're on the forum. If you're not yet on the forum, head on over to forum.freetalklive.com. That's forum.freetalklive.com. You can get interactive there with other Free Talk Live listeners. It's also part of the larger Shire Forum, so if you want to connect with people and activists here in New Hampshire, it's a great way to do it that doesn't involve using some massive mega corporate social media website. So check it out. It's free. Forum.freetalklive.com. We go back to David in Mexico. We've been talking about Hollywood and sex in the workplace and the Me Too movement. David, go ahead.
Yeah, in Mexico, people think that New Mexico is not a state. It's a third world country because it kind of behaves like one, but it's actually New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Ian, I did what you asked. I called our local program director at KKOB Radio in Albuquerque to ask him to carry your show. Yeah. I called up there and asked to talk to Pat Frisch, and they said I couldn't talk to him.
He's gone.
And I asked why, and they said because you got him fired.
No, that's not true.
No, actually it is true. I got Pat Frisch fired. Pat Frisch, the program director, is
I don't
fired.
believe it. I don't believe it. What's the evidence?
Well, the email that I sent you an email. If you check your email, I sent it to Mark as well, and I sent it to like 30 or 40 other people in the state of New Mexico, senators and governors and representatives and judges and stuff like that. And the very day I sent it, a few hours later, he was suspended for a week for what he said on the air. And then a few months later, he did it again, and they canned his backside. So anyway,
well, that's an interesting claim. I mean, it says here that he has left the station. It doesn't sound like he got fired in the industry news that's reporting on it.
He very much call up their studio line at 505-243-3333 and ask whoever answers the line if Frisch got fired or didn't get fired.
Maybe the board op was just blowing smoke. You know, maybe he wanted you to feel good about it because, you know, he knew that you didn't like him.
No. I know every one of them that
all right, so did you call to gloat tonight, or was there another point?
It's a warning, Ian.
Got to get to it.
There's another point on what you're talking about on Pound Me Too.
Let's hear it.
You know that one? Pound Me Too?
Yeah. Another word for hashtag. Good pun.
So two things on that is, Ian, you said that it's not harassment until you've been told it's unwanted.
The definition of criminal harassment, you do generally have to ask a person not to talk to you anymore in order for it to be
right. And so I am permanently banned from the University of New Mexico Law School library, where I had only gone in like 2 or 3 times, 3 at the most, to use the law library. Mm-hmm. And one of the times I was there, the last time I was there, I noticed a mature adult woman working in the law library, meaning a graduate student, a third-year law student, and I politely asked her if I could take her to dinner. She called the cops.
Jeez.
The cops came and kicked me out of the UNM law library and told me to never come back.
Did you get a criminal charge?
For what?
Okay, so you didn't get a criminal charge. Thank you for the call, David. That was my point. Of course, somebody can control private property or whatever in whatever way they want. Now, you could argue this isn't private property, but that's a whole other story. The government's in control of it, and they'll do what they want. In the same way that I, have been kicked out of college campuses for saying things that certain people didn't like on the college campus,
mostly harassing presidential candients.
Yeah, well, if you want to use the word harassment.
Have you Googled yourself?
That was actually at the library where that happened, the public library. And I did not get kicked off for that. But in those cases, I wasn't arrested for criminal harassment because I didn't commit criminal harassment. Do I agree with them kicking me off the campus? No, I don't. Is it something that's worth my time to fight? No, because I could go back the next day. So it's like not really worth the issue of making a big issue out of it. In that case, it sounds like somebody was uncomfortable by something you said. Did they overreact? Maybe so.
Probably. If it's as he described, probably an overreaction. Because a simple, no thank you could be good enough. But there was, a recent article that came out that, a female was, propositioned for a date or whatever and declined politely, and it was punched in the face.
Oh.
So you never can tell, what the situation is going to bring.
Certainly, no one here is going to defend men in every situation. I would just say that, being asked out in a normal fashion should be declined in a normal fashion.
I agree.
Our former co-host and one of our first regular female co-hosts, Julia Miranda, passed away, unfortunately, last weekend.
Yeah.
I did write a piece about it over at freekeen.com, and I want to share it with you here. Her boyfriend and former Free Talk Live co-host and comic artist Marcus Connor spoke at her memorial service in Peterborough, which you and I attended yesterday, Mark. And shared
only yesterday? God.
Yep. And shared some kind words from one of the many listeners of Free Talk Live who was she touched by with her witty, compassionate, and intelligent comments on the air. I thought that was pretty cool to actually have a Free Talk Live listener's comments read at the memorial service. Julia loved electronic music, especially the happy hardcore subgenre, and since she discovered them as a young teenager, Julia also loved attending raves, and it was her passion for the electronic music scene that led her to this radio show, Free Talk Live. In October of 2005, which is like the one time frame where we don't have archives online, so I couldn't actually link to this show. There was a ridiculous and shocking police raid against a peaceful rave in Utah. The raid included a helicopter hovering with spotlights and armed men rappelling down to violently kidnap approximately 60 people whose only crime was dancing without government permission. It was an outrage, but for the rave community, it was nothing new. Police had been harassing and arresting ravers for more than a decade prior to the Utah rave raid in 2005. Because of her rave community connections, Julia heard our broadcast on Free Talk Live, where we discussed the Utah rave, and she was amazed that anyone in the media would actually empathize with the situation and further support her right to live her life how she wanted. After listening to Free Talk Live and later calling in to tell her own personal story of police harassment and arrest over cannabis possession, Julia sent me a very nice email. And from that moment, our lives were never the same, and we would be forever intertwined for the better. It wasn't long before Julia had signed the Free State Project's pledge to migrate to New Hampshire and moved in with me in my house in Florida. She'd lived on the East Coast there for years, and I'd lived on the West Coast for my whole life to that point. Within months, we'd made the move to New Hampshire on Labor Day of 2006 as partners. As Dave Ridley remembered in his recent video memorial for Julia, she excitedly ran for city council and was horrified by the experience. Beyond being threatened by the attorney general over her campaign promise to return her paycheck to the people, a local Politico had come to Panera, where she'd worked as a manager at the time, and bugged her about her campaign. For her, this was an unacceptable result of political action, and she decided she wanted nothing to do with the process from then on. Politics is a nasty business, and it wasn't right for Julia, understandably. She decided to focus more on her career. Our relationship sadly ended, and after working for years in the corporate world, she became a self-taught graphic designer. Without ever having spent a single day inside a college classroom, Julia became a capable and competent graphic artist while working in the charitable giving department of C&S Grocers, one of Keene's major employers. That was what Julia did. She mastered anything she set her mind to. She was super smart and also very beautiful. It was a pleasure to be her partner for as long as I was. I'm definitely a better person today because I knew her. While there was a time when Julia and my eventual teenage love, Renee, were not close, they thankfully ended up becoming great friends, as I hoped they would. Renee loved raves as much as Julia, and Julia ultimately became her rave mom. After leaving the corporate world, Julia set out as a freelance graphic designer and took a Christmas season job at Target and Keene to help pay the bills. Since she excelled at everything, they of course asked her to stay on after the holiday season. Julia had always had an inspirational work ethic and loved her new job in the electronics department. With her lifelong love for robots and computers, it was an easy fit for her. While the autopsy has not yet come in, I suspect her early demise at only age 34 had to do with an injury she recently suffered in her workplace, where 2 weeks before her death, she accidentally turned around and ran into a metal column, and as she described it to me, almost got knocked the F out.
Yeah,
and apparently she didn't go to the hospital, despite being laid out on the floor by the impact. Like Julia, I dislike hospitals and probably would have done what she likely did, brushed herself off and went back to work the best she could. Julia passed away last week at an electronic music festival in New York. Renee and others were with her at the time, so she was with those who loved her at a place where she felt at home. Some will take the easy road and blame drugs for her early death. Those people didn't know Julia. No one I've ever known in my life was more careful about recreational drug use than Julia. She always tested what she'd acquired and spent time researching what she chose to put in her body. She also made it her mission to educate other ravers and anyone who is willing to listen about responsible recreational drug use. There's a little more. You can see it for yourself over at freekeen.com. Rest in peace, Julia. See you tomorrow.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,418. Silver at $16.38, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,142. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime personal pilots have been subpoenaed by federal prosecutors in Manhattan, according to the Wall Street Journal. The grand jury subpoenas were served earlier this month following Epstein's July 6 arrest in New Jersey on charges of sex trafficking minors. He has pleaded not guilty to the years-long scheme in which prosecutors allege the wealthy financier sexually abused dozens of young girls from 2002 to 2005, some of whom recruited other victims. The Mind Unleashed reports it's unknown how many of Epstein's pilots were subpoenaed, or whether they're cooperating witnesses. According to court documents from prior cases, Epstein employed David Rogers, Larry Vasosky, Larry Morrison, and Bill Hammond as pilots and flight engineers. Rogers, Vasosky, and Morrison have previously testified in civil depositions. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. In the latest move to undermine the separation of church and state in the United States, a new law in South Dakota is requiring all public schools in the state to prominently display the motto, "In God We Trust." The Mind Unleashed reports the new law, which decrees that schools must emblazon the message across